afternoon. My name is Timothy Heiner, and today we are going to discuss avoiding dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace. Dehydration and heat exhaustion is a life-threatening and a scary situation to be in. The number of deaths each year from dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace are alarming. Shockingly, 75% of Americans are dehydrated. It is required by OSHA and other safety organizations that companies must provide education on how to prevent dehydration and heat exhaustion. Workers must take precautions anytime working in extreme heat temperatures. Today, I will discuss the steps in avoiding dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace. These steps include drinking plenty of cool fluids, wear proper cool clothing, and know the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and dehydration in order to get help immediately. First, I am going to discuss the first step in avoiding dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace by drinking plenty of cool fluids, specifically water. There are some steps OSHA and the CDC want companies to use to avoid dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace. They should drink on average 4 cups of water every hour while the heat index is 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Workers will need the greatest amount of water if they must work during the hottest part of the day. Workers must make sure they have plenty of cool drinking water. Employers must provide water and have disposable cups in convenient, visible locations close to the work area. Have the manager on duty actively encourage workers to drink small amounts of water often and before they become too thirsty. The next topic we will discuss to avoid heat exhaustion and dehydration is wearing proper cool clothing, as discussed by Brenda Jacklish in her blog for the CDC. There are some different types of cool clothing that will help in the dreaded heat. The best clothing to wear that is loose fitting and lightweight because it allows your body to cool properly. If unable to wear cool clothing, dampen your work clothes with water or wear a cooling vest if allowed. If unable to wear cool clothing, put cold packs in your pockets. Lastly, we will discuss the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and dehydration. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, signs and symptoms of dehydration include thirst, dark urine or less frequent urination, dizziness or fainting. Signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion include muscle cramps, headache, nausea, or vomiting. When to seek medical attention and call 911 if the worker becomes unconscious or appears confused or is doing the job without coordination. Today, I have discussed with you the steps in avoiding dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace by drinking plenty of cool fluids, wear proper cool clothing, and know the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and dehydration in order to get help immediately. We have discussed tips to avoid dehydration and heat exhaustion. Understanding these steps and avoiding dehydration and heat exhaustion in the workplace is not only crucial, but could be life-saving for your coworkers as well. Thank you.
That was good. Good job.
Thank you.
I tell you, I know firsthand how my mother